I'm talking to Melanie Salins here after the meeting of our budget, not our budget, our zoning issue that's come tonight, and we talked to you before all this, and you've been real active on Facebook, and talking about it. So have you changed your mind? Have you come away with any new things, or you feel the same way, or?
Oh, I feel exactly the same way. Yeah.
Which is?
That it's not a good idea for our community. I understand that it's a profitable thing for this developer, and I understand why he wants to build the houses and how it's going to benefit him, but I still haven't seen anything showing how it's going to benefit our community.
Well, I was just talking to him, and he was saying that the county went to him and asked him that they needed these things, and that's why they're developing it this way, because
the county said they needed what things?
Housing, they wanted housing in the corridor, and this is. So they say
they needed 1,250 housing units in the corridor?
I don't know. I'm just saying this is according to him. The county asked him to do this, and he's just doing what the county. They're looking at their property. They can develop it. So they think it's viable for the community. A 10-year project. It sounded like it would be a 10-year long project, and so that's kind of an interesting turn. I didn't realize the county was doing that as part of their comprehensive plan, et cetera, et cetera.
This doesn't follow the comprehensive plan as we've read it online, and as the Planning and Zoning Commission turned it down, specifically stating that it doesn't follow the comprehensive plan. I think I would have followed up with the developer to ask who specifically in the county approached him. Did he say who specifically approached him?
Well, I was under the impression it was Mr. Stanley. So he was praising Doug about his insight on doing this. So I'll have to go back and we'll watch the video and we'll see exactly what was said there, but that's why it sounds like it's apples and oranges or something. It's clear to me as a resident that we have already other developers have tried to do this. Mm-hmm. They've tried to bring in outside developers, as we know in town, and they were coming in 2008, 2009. Of course, the market crashed and they pulled out. Mm-hmm. So we know we have property that's zoned, plotted, water available, sewer available, etc. And it's empty, and it's across the street from a middle school and a high school, and close by to an elementary school. So already, not AS Roads, but LFK,
right,
middle school, and the Warren County High School. So if those developers not viable for them, my question to them was, how could it be why is it okay for you? I mean, what makes your project so much better than these other projects? He's going to look into that.
Well, my issue with it, if you looked at the financial impact report, it showed that for every $1 of tax revenue brought in through property taxes, we're going to be spending $2 in providing services. So that's a loss to the citizens of this county. It's going to result in an additional tax increase.
Well, that's why the town basically didn't annex the corridor, because for every $1 they were going to spend, they were going to spend $2, or they're going to spend some more money. It would actually be a money loser to annex the property. That's why they came up with this corridor agreement where they double the water and figured it out, and how they played their games with numbers, so they actually have a positive cash flow out of it. Instead of annexing it, they got the benefit without all the expenses. So.
But last I had heard, the developer had asked to only pay half of those water hookups.
Well, that's right. That's another. You're talking millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. And I don't think the town. I've talked to several of the council members, and my recollection is not put words in their mouth, but my recollection is that agreement that they had no provision for residential water, and that they would vote no on any kind of project to put more housing demands on the system, even though they have this capacity, but this capacity is reserved for future commercial development.
Right.
I mean, we have way more property available out there for commercial. It's not full.
Right.
And Dominion Power is putting a demand. Their demand may go down, may go up. We don't know. This commercial development up and down that corridor, there's a lot of land out there. Mm-hmm. So if you suck up And houses take a lot more water. I heard him say 82,000 gallons, but
And that's, the math doesn't even
the
add
math
up.
that I said my teenager spent 82 gallons a day taking a shower. So I know that numbers can't be right.
We did a quick Google search, and it's actually 300 gallons a day that each home would use. And doing
300
his
times
math,
1,200
it doesn't add up. Like, I would at least like correct facts presented, and that was the other issue that I had with the board that they had set up. The pictures of the homes that they have on there, the developer made very clear that is not what they're actually going to look at, or
Right.
what they're going to look like. As it was pointed out, the assisted living facility, one of the gentlemen standing over there actually had built that building himself elsewhere. It's a $20 million building, and the rent would be $4,500 a month and
Right.
up, which, where's the market for that kind of
Yeah.
rent out here?
Well,
So,
they're getting actually more than that in places around here.
well, it feels like a bait and switch, though, when
Well,
they show us a board with houses that look this way, when they know full well that what they're actually going to be putting there is something completely different. So,
Well, if you're going to build, and the other thing, workforce housing is just a buzzword for low-income housing.
Right.
And they use the word police, fire, and nurses. We want to retain them, but anybody can live in those if they meet the
Right.
requirements.
right.
You know, we proposed a plan
You
with
have a great idea with that.
did you watch my interview with?
Oh, you and I have sat down and
we've
talked
talked about
You
that.
have
So
a fabulous plan.
I think it's a fabulous plan because it's my plan, right? You know, just like
well, no,
everybody.
it's legitimately a good plan.
And I've mentioned
Well
it
thought out.
to Mr. Drescher, and I think we ought to at least pursue that because it helps hundreds of people.
Mm-hmm.
You could watch my plan on the interview that I did with Greg Drescher.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out on the Royal Examiner. But we're going to help 24 people in the workforce housing, or we're going to help 200-300 people over a 20-year span of something. And I know people that live in apartments can leave when their lease, break their lease, leave in a heartbeat. Somebody's got a house. You don't just get up and leave after 1 year of buying a house because it costs you money.
Right.
And so that little $2,000 or $3,000 or even a $10,000 raise can be offset with a $12,000 loss in your selling your house, and then you're going to think twice before you leave the community. So those are the kind of things that I think we need to look about. You know, here I'm talking to you, but I'm doing all the talking but I think we agree on a lot of these things. I think we want to do what's best for our
For
community.
the community, yes. What's best for the community and not what's best for one person's investment.
Well,
So,
you know, now now we're looking at AS Roads, no money to do anything with that. And this kind of a project, of course, is going to demand a new school.
yes, yeah.
This will
they
be,
made that
this
very
will
clear
be,
tonight.
and this will be the emphasis to build another school in that part of the county. That's
Yes.
that's how I see it.
That's how I see it too.
That's right. So,
So maybe is this part of the plan? Is this the scheme? Is this why the developer was asked to put in all of these houses over here? So that we'd have a reason to
well,
build
I think
a
we
whole
need to
new
go
school?
talk to Mr. Stanley and see what happens next. But I think we all want to do what's good for our community. And no one really wants to see, we want housing. We want people to move here. It's a great place to live. And I think we all want that. It's just a matter of, I just hope
How to
we're
do
not.
it the smart way.
I think we need to start with, and I don't think it's a not in my backyard problem because there's no one lives out
Yeah,
there.
no.
So it's not that, I don't think.
Yeah, no, not a my backyard problem. It's an issue of, I mean, that land, it's gonna get built on at some point in time.
Right.
But we need to reserve that and protect it for future commercial growth.
Right, and it will happen. We might not see it in our lifetime, but it will happen.
I think I'll see it in my lifetime.
Well, you're young. I'm old. I'm going to be 70 years old on my next birthday. So, yeah, I might not see it. But, I'm hoping, I'm shooting for 100, you know what I mean?
No,
But,
I think there are some great ideas of things that they should explore commercially that I don't think have fully been explored.
Right.
We need more indoor recreation for children around here. There's nothing to do in the wintertime. There's a ton to do in the spring and summer.
Right.
But, an indoor, like, kid fit place that maybe does, like, gymnastics and rock climbing wall and things like that, something fun indoor. I think parents would be willing to play, or like for a Monkey Joe's or a trampoline park. That's
well,
really
some of
the
these
up and
things,
coming
we've
stuff.
built an area out on the corridor, and the cost, the cost per square foot out there
It's
is
expensive.
very expensive. And compared to square footage in town, it's lots more. And we've seen a lot of business go in and out, in and out, in and out. And these kind of things don't really generate big numbers of dollars, these things that we want, but require a lot of space, and a lot of space equates to a lot of expense. So, maybe we need to think about, people will come, like you say, we talked about Chick-fil-A's. Okay, it's great. I love Chick-fil-A. But the question is, where's that business going to come from Chick-fil-A? From every other business out there that's similar to it in the fast food restaurant business. How much new business will they bring? They'll bring a little from the road, but
I don't think that's necessarily fair with something like with Chick-fil-A. Like, for instance, I myself live here. I do not patronize any of the other fast food restaurants, but I will go to a Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yeah, because...
So, and I'm not the only one who is like that.
Well, that's true. So I'm saying there is going to be a percentage of that new business, but there's also, any business that happens with. So that means every other business is going to have to step up their game to compete. That's why we have competition.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think that's what it is. But we just need fair and balanced competition, to phrase it. Fair trade, right? Anyway, I just wanted to get your opinion, and I think it hasn't changed.
No, not at all.
In fact, you're more resolved to keep up the work of making people aware of what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. The community has to be aware. That's how our community gets itself out of this predicament.
Well, I'm disappointed you didn't finish your race for Board of Supervisors.
I accomplished my goal.
Well, you did. You got, and other people stepped up.
And I told you up front, I never wanted the seat. However, I do not like an election that has only one person running and an incumbent when something like this has happened.
Well, you did, I guess,
So,
no
my
incumbent
goal
and
was
two
achieved.
people, so you got to consider that a success then, right?
I do. Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled with the upcoming elections because we've got a great race happening in South River.
That's right. Years ago we couldn't get anyone to run. Poor Miss Glavis, she said, I want to retire. And she did, whether you agree with everything she does, she did said, okay, if no one, I'll be willing to step down if someone would step up. No step up, right to the last day. I know that she really did want to not run.
And now we have three great candidates.
And now we have three good. That's right, three great candidates.
It's nice to anticipate an election where a lot of times you're like, oh gosh, I hope that guy doesn't win. But right now we've got elections going on. I will be thrilled if whichever one wins.
Right, I think any one of them will do a good job. We have 4 now running for sheriff.
I heard that there
That's
was
right. The fourth, Democrats have put out a new candidate. So we're going to be bringing them in, talking to them. So we have 4 candidates for that. We have 2 candidates running in Shenandoah, Mr. Sayre and Mr. Mabe. So that's, again, same time, we thought was going to be running unopposed. And at the last, at the 11th hour, Walt Mabe stuck up, said, I'm going to do it. And he went out and 10 days did his thing.
Wow,
and
that's impressive.
So yes, and all by himself.
Wow, that is impressive.
So people are stepping up, and I think it's because of all the things that are happening in our community, and I think people just said, you know what, I'm aware of these things now. I didn't realize all this was going on, and it's got to stop. And I think, and somebody's got to step up, and if no one's going to do it, I'll do it.
And that's the silver lining in all this is we have people who are voting now.
That's right. Well, look at our couple of meetings. Some of these meetings, we've had 204 people show up to that hasn't happened in...
Well, when have you seen this many people here for a work session?
That they couldn't even speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's because you're pounding them out there on Facebook, said, come to the meeting, come to the meeting, come to the meeting. I've seen you. But again, people have to have awareness of what's going on in their community. If you don't speak up, you're going to just have to take whatever comes your way, and I don't think that's the American way.
It's not how this country was designed to be.
No, I think so. We got to vote. Remember that vote. This is an important election coming up. We got a lot of candidates. It's great. I think that in the marketplace, whether this comes or not, it'll be whatever happens. It'll be good for the. I won't say it'll be good for the community, but in the long term, it may. Other things may happen, may be good. We'll just have to think positive. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, I guess. I don't know, but
if you get involved and you try your best and you lose, you tried your best.
You did what you can do.
It's when you don't get involved, you
don't be
really
a sore
can't
loser.
complain
Just
about it later.
move on. That's right. If you didn't get involved,
you can't complain about it later.
I know people, these armchair quarterbacks, they complain about our politicians, but yet they don't vote. Most of the most vocal people don't vote at all, and they're not even registered. And yet, boy, they hit that keyboard, and the way they're complaining, they do it. But anyway, I appreciate people like you that step up.
Thank you.
People like the Royal Examiner has kind of been born out of all this same reason, we're going to try to do our part. I let people know that in the last 30 days, we've had 86,555 unique users on our website.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Who would ever think that we would have 86,555? I checked the number today. I just can't believe it.
Well, congratulations on that.
That's great. So
That is
we
an
are
achievement.
reaching our community is only 15,000 households, 32,000 people or whatever it is in our whole county. So we are having eyeballs on us outside our county, and people are looking at us and saying, hey, are we going to do the right thing? What's going on over there in Warren County? Is it good, bad, indifferent? So people are looking at us, and we can see that number based on just people that watch and read the Royal Examiner. So if you want to find out what's going on in Warren County, subscribe to the Royal Examiner. It's free. Just go to royalexaminer.com and click subscribe, right?
Yes.
I appreciate it. Thanks again for talking to us,
Thank you
Melanie.
so much.
And
Thank you for
your
your
children
time.
are so well behaved.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you.